Alright, so this is my oral presentation, and my name is Heather Davis, and my current position right now is at ROCAP. I am the Early Head Start Education Coach and Lead. I work with home visitors in 7 different sites all over Alaska. It's my job to fly into their village and help assist them and teach them how to be a home visitor. And my professional concentration in the beginning of this program was to be a ELL teacher. I first started by getting my ESL graduate certificate endorsement, and then it shifted to adult teaching. So I now do not do direct services anymore for children. I only work with adults now. And so this is my first video, and the agenda will be my introduction right now, and then my personal reflection, and then my research report, and then my artifact report. So for my personal reflection, how I have been a culturally responsive educator, I will review how I am professionally, academically, personally, and how in preschool I have been a culturally responsive educator, and how I am one right now in my current position. So first up, my professionally, I would say I have grown a lot professionally because I can confidently conduct quality work, because I've had a lot of practice and experience with creating PowerPoints and of course essays, and I have a lot of experience through this program creating well thought out lesson plans, and along with that essays as well, and research. In my current position at ROCAP, we do CQI, which is basically research, and a lot of individuals are not really on board with it, but I feel confident, and I have contributed quite a bit of my knowledge, and so I have grown professionally in those ways. I am now also creating a lot of professional development and kind of shifting systems in the organization as a whole. There hasn't been a well thought out system yet within my organization for the early Head Start side, and so I have come in with my research and my ideas, and I am now developing a whole new training system, so I feel confident that I have grown professionally in that aspect. I've conducted 2 research projects that has helped me grow professionally, and just overall I'm confident as an educator, whether I'm trying to get a new job, building resumes or cover letters for me and or the individuals I'm helping. I help them with their CDAs, and I help them edit and review their work and their essays. With my current position, I have been creating new policies and procedures and new forms. Beginning of the year, I was given a lot of forms, and to me they did not make sense, and so I have been recreating it for it to make more sense, and my supervisor has agreed with me, so that gives me confidence as well professionally and overall as a professional and how I present myself in front of people. Academically, I have grown quite a bit as well. Overall, I am a better writer. I had 0 writing confidence at the beginning of this program, to be honest, and now I feel a lot more confident writing and editing with all my essays and PowerPoints I have written. Like I said, I contribute a lot to professional development out in trainings, and I've been tasked with that, so that makes me feel like I am trusted with an important task. I confidently know how to plan, create, distribute professional development. And as I said, I've helped create new policies and procedures and professional development and forms at work. I am constantly volunteering during meetings to take on a task. my supervisor has asked me to not volunteer as much because I am such a go-getter. And so that makes me feel pretty confident in my ability, being told to step down a little bit and to give someone else a chance. I also edit quite often my colleagues and my direct supervisor newsletters, professional documents, emails, and essays. And I typically find a lot of edits that I can make, and they have verbalized their gratitude and how thankful they are that I help them. And so that gives me confidence and has shown myself how I've grown academically. Personally, I've grown I'm just more confident. I'm a confident student overall, an adult overall in just a professional setting. I've grown because I stayed dedicated. I moved to Anchor Point for my first year teaching, and I was doing my master's during my first year teaching, and it was very, very challenging, and I ended up taking some time off, but I still made it for that first semester, for that first year. And this program helped me a lot personally learn how to be a teacher. I thought I knew how to be one, but once I started, I didn't. And so with this program, it really helped me learn how to teach and plan really good lesson plans. I did summer classes, so that also shows me personally that I'm a dedicated hard worker, because summer classes are really difficult, having to do a lot of work in a short amount of time. And overall, of course, it helps me become more mindful personally, just as an adult and as a teacher, and to be a culturally responsive teacher. And so I view myself as a culturally responsive educator. When I was in Anchor Point, it's a small town. Everyone's Caucasian. Everyone is kind of keeps to themselves. They have a lot of land to themselves. They do a lot of outdoorsy activities, riding on their ATVs and motorbikes and side-by-sides and down by the ocean. And they do a lot of gardening, and they have a lot of farming. So this was kind of a culture shock for me. I was not used to it, being raised in Anchorage. And so there wasn't much diversity, any kind of diversity at Chapman. So within my classroom, I first started by putting pictures of the students, of my students, of their families up on the display board so they can see it and talk about it. I wanted to bring into the classroom a sense of racial diversity. So I had different posters of different cultures and different people from around the world. I had different books with different races and dramatic play clothes and toys of different cultures and skin color as well. I incorporated many different teaching methods. I did a lot of, in the morning, I did sit-down work where they had to use fine motor skills and executive thinking skills. I did movement activities and lessons and singing, dancing, and of course, reading and writing. I had to adapt the curriculum to be a little bit more relatable. For example, more farming and gardening and construction. A lot of families and the children are very familiar with construction workers and farming and gardening. And so with math, we used like the garden instead of just measuring a pencil or scissors as they called for in the curriculum. I had us make a garden and we measured beanstalks. And so I felt like that was more relatable, and the kids definitely connected more with measuring and learning how to measure. And then with counting bears, the curriculum wanted a lot of counting bears, so I bought things like boats because everyone had a boat, and goats and ATV figurines, so we would use those. And then as an education coach at RoCap, I haven't worked directly with Alaska Native culture, and every single one of my home visitors are Alaska Native, and they were all born and raised out in rural Alaska. And so I thought I knew the culture, but I definitely did not. And so I was informed and I learned how they were a little bit more quiet and more reserved. I am very extroverted and outspoken and blunt, and they are not. So that was a learning curve. And so I reflected on how am I going to connect with them. And so when I was planning, I asked a lot of open-ended questions, and I called on specific individuals. I would ask a lot of different questions because a lot of different villages have different norms. I thought they would all be the same, but they're not. And so I would always be open and appreciate their input. For summer packets, every summer we send out summer packets. I was thinking to just send out generic book-related Hungry Caterpillar. I asked all the home visitors their input and advice, and I switched my thinking to village life. And so the summer packets incorporated berry picking and salmon activities, hunting and fishing because they go to fish camp, and social emotional awareness as well because that's what they asked for. And then I also assisted in planning group socials, which is home visitors plan family events for parents and children to come together and to interact with one another, and they eat a meal. And so when I was planning group socials for them to help them and support them, I would make safety pamphlets for ATVs or boat safety or ice fishing and lead poisoning in Anchorage and Anchor Point. I never had to make a group social like that, so it was a little bit different, and so I adapted those village life norms into those lessons. And so overall, this program and all the documents and required assignments I've done has really helped me, and all the lit reviews have really helped me as well, with all the research as well, has really given me a lot of insight of how rural life is in general, and it helped me become more insightful in approaching, planning, and working with children and adult students.